Hey everyone, let's get started designing our portfolios for art class. This is where we're going to keep all our papers and our flat 2D artwork, so it's very important. And we are going to use one of the 4 earth elements as our inspiration: fire, water, air, or earth. And the way we're going to find out which one of these elements we're going to use as inspiration is we're going to complete a get to know you quiz. Before you take the quiz, get a worksheet from me and write your name at the top, and then answer the questions on the slideshow. Make sure to write down your score for each question, and when the quiz is over, add up your score to get your total amount of points. The amount of points that you get will decide which element that you receive. I got 160 points, and so that means that my element is fire. Now, don't worry, if you took the quiz and you got an element that you just don't jive with, you don't like it, it's okay. You can just decide on your favorite element. The quiz doesn't know everything. Then, once you've either decided on or received your element, you're going to draw at least 6 different objects or pictures that come to mind when you think about your element. So since I got fire, I of course drew some flames. I drew a tiger because they're orange, a lightning bolt, a pepper, the sun, and a phoenix, because phoenixes rise from the ashes. Once that part of the worksheet is done, you're going to flip over the paper and you're going to circle the color family that best fits with your element or with your design. We've got the cool colors, the neutral colors, and the warm colors. Since we don't have color copies of our quizzes, I'm going to go ahead and show you right here what those 3 different color families are made of. So the first color family is the cool colors. It's made up of green, blue, and purple, and it makes sense that they're called the cold or cool colors because they're the color of cold things like cool green grass, ice cold blue water, or a purple popsicle. There is also the neutral family. The neutral families don't have a temperature to them. They're just right in the middle, and those 3 colors are black, white, and brown. And our last color family is the warm colors, the colors of fire and hot things: red, orange, and yellow. Also, pink is a warm color as well. So back to the worksheet, circle the color family that you think will go best with your design and also with the element that you either chose or that the quiz told you you were. The last part of your planning sheet asks you to come up with 2 different full-out designs for your portfolio. Think about the 6 objects that you drew. Think about the color family that you chose and create 2 different ideas for your portfolio. One of my ideas is kind of a crouching tiger with the sun behind him, and my other idea is to incorporate the phoenix into my design like this with some flames. Now your planning sheet is all complete. You've thought about different objects that can show what your element is. You've thought about which color family will go best with your element. And now it's time to start drawing on the real thing. For your real portfolio, you are going to get a giant piece of paper. And the first thing you're going to want to do to create more space for you and your friends at your table is to fold your paper in half, hamburger style. So you don't want it to end up super skinny and long. You want it to end up kind of like a chunky rectangle like this. After you have folded your paper in half, double check to make sure that the folded edge is at the bottom. That's very important. Make sure that the folded edge of your big, huge paper is at the bottom. And then grab a pencil and draw really large to fill up this whole side of the paper. You can use your planning sheet to remember which design you like the best, and go for it. Once I started drawing, I actually decided to combine my two portfolio ideas into one. So I really liked the tiger idea with the sun, but I also really liked the flames from my phoenix design. So I combined them both together. I made sure to draw with a pencil in case I made any mistakes, and I also made sure to draw really large. This is a huge piece of paper, and we want our design to fill it up. After you're done drawing your design with a pencil, it's time to make it permanent with a permanent marker. So grab yourself a black Sharpie, and you are going to trace your entire drawing from top to bottom, every little stripe, every little line. When I'm in the tracing stage of a drawing, I like to actually make just a few corrections, right? If I made a mistake with a pencil, then I can fix it with the Sharpie, make things more symmetrical or more neat. Anyway, when you are all done using your Sharpie to solidify your drawing, it is time to erase the pencil marks. So get yourself an eraser, and I'm going to give you erasing tips. Can you believe it? There is a right and a wrong way to erase in art. When you erase in art class, you want to hold down the paper with one hand and scoot the eraser away from you. You don't want to scrub the eraser back and forth because then you run the risk of crinkling the paper. Have you ever done that before? To avoid that, erase in one direction only, away from you. Once all of your pencil lines are erased, it's time to get a set of pan watercolor paints, a paintbrush, and a water dish. But before we get started painting our portfolios, I wanted to show you 3 really cool watercolor paint techniques. I want you to choose one or more of these techniques that you're about to see and incorporate them into your portfolio painting. The first technique I want to show you is with tin foil. So whatever colors you choose to paint your portfolio, put the paint onto the paper. Work kind of quickly because before the paint dries, you're going to want to grab a piece of tin foil, crinkle it up, and place it onto the wet paint. Then let the paint dry. We'll take a look at that later. In the meantime, let's learn about our second technique, and that is using plastic wrap. So again, we're going to paint on the paper. Make sure that the paint is wet. Don't wait too long. And once you've got that paint on the paper, it's time to grab a piece of plastic wrap, give it a good crinkle, and place it on top of the wet paint. Again, we've got to wait for the paint to fully dry to see the effects of that technique. So let's do our final technique, which is called masking. And what you'll need for masking is a piece of masking tape. And this time you're going to put the tape onto the paper before you start painting. So place a piece of tape onto the paper wherever you want it in your design, and wherever that tape is going to be left white or blank. And then get the paint and paint over top of the masking tape. You can paint right on top of it and let it dry. Once you peel it up, the place where the tape was is going to be left blank. Now my piece of paper has completely dried, and it's safe now to take off the tinfoil, the plastic wrap, and the masking tape from my paper and check out what each technique looks like. All 3 are pretty cool. Again, I want you to choose one or more of these techniques to try out once you start to paint your portfolio. Once you're all set, grab those paints and go to town. Cover this entire paper with color. Please don't leave anything of what I call peekaboo spots, spots where you forgot to paint. Make sure to fill in all of the spaces. And hey, think about the color family that you chose, and use mostly those colors in your design. Don't forget to try out one of the techniques. I tried the plastic wrap technique in the background of my picture, on the black part to kind of make it look like the paper was burnt, and I think it looks really cool. I'm really happy with this Phoenix Tiger Sun Flames picture. I am so excited to see what you do, what colors you choose, and what watercolor techniques that you use as well. Feel free to use the colorful Sharpies to color in any small details that you couldn't get with the watercolor paint. And now it's time to turn this painting into a portfolio. What you will need to do that is a stapler. You're probably going to have to share the stapler with one or more of your friends, but once you've got it, you are going to staple up the sides of the portfolio, leaving the top open. And the way I like to do it is in an organized manner. I put a staple at the bottom, a staple near the top, a staple in the middle, and then I fill up the spaces in between with 3 to 5 staples. Remember, we're going to leave the top open so that we can slide in our papers and projects. So find the other side of the paper and repeat the steps. One on the bottom, one on the top, one in the middle, and then fill in the spaces in between with about 3 to 5 staples. Now we can see how our portfolios will work. It's like a big pocket folder where you can slide your flat two-dimensional art projects, your do now papers, and any other worksheets or papers that we need to hang on to. And your portfolios will live in the slot that matches your period number. Maybe you're in first period art or second period art or fourth period art. You need to find the proper section of the portfolio slots, and then you need to find the letters that match with your last name. So let's say I'm in second period art. My last name starts with a T, so my portfolio is going to go in the second period section in the S to V spot. Now we're ready to start the art semester right. I'm so excited to, first of all, find out what element you get, and then second of all, to see what your awesome portfolio design will be. See you later.